Hello there, I am Black Bright News, and most of us who are born in the UK or live in the UK legally don't know much about immigration or how they get here or what they need to do to get here. So, apparently, that's what I'm going to discuss today because some new suitability rules came out yesterday, the 11th of November, and I just wanted to run them by you because this is going to be the new criteria whereby anyone applying for leave to remain is going to have to abide by. And I'm going to have to break it up in parts because, as you know, the law is long and tedious. So I've just simplified it and I'm going to break it up in small, simple parts. Okay, let me read my notes to make it easier. Most foreign nationals who want to stay in the UK apply for a grant of limited leave to remain on private life, long residence basis. It's usually based on private life or long residence, which means private life, they've come into the country, could be legally or illegally. They've established a private life, family, job, house, all that kind of stuff. And they've been here for around 25 years. Or long residence, similar. They've been in the country for a very long time, but not necessarily legally. So the limited leave for remain is usually about 2.5 years initially, and then applicants should then be able to seek further leave or settlement depending on the route rules in place at the time. The existing grounds for refusal, i.e., no matter how long you've been here, you're not going to get your limited leave to remain so that you can be legally in the country, is being replaced by a new section called Part Suitability of the Immigration Rules. The core methodology remains. The Home Office can refuse or cancel entry if the applicant fails to meet the suitability or refusal grounds. So the new suitability rules from the 11th of November 2025, that's 2 days ago, isn't it? Because today's the 13th. The new rules moved the long-standing overstaying exception previously found in paragraph 39E into a new part suitability framework. There will be no transitional provisions allowing consideration under the old rules for applications decided after this date, even if submitted earlier. What does that mean in plain English? This means that there won't be any grace period or temporary exceptions after the 11th of November, even if the application was delivered at an earlier date. New applications will not be assessed using old rules after the 11th of November, and any application finalised or decided on or after the 11th of November 2025 will be affected. The long-standing overstaying exemption most commonly refers to 20-year-long residence pathway under the immigration rules, often cited via paragraph references such as 27.6 ADE. It recognises someone's very long continuous residence in the UK, even if parts or all of that residence were without lawful leave. Successful applicants can be granted leave to remain on the basis of their private life, which is what I kind of touched on earlier on. What does this mean in plain English? Well, starting from the 11th of November 2025, all decisions will be made using the new rules, even for applications sent in before that date. There won't be any exceptions or transitional arrangements to let older applications use the old system. So, the criteria is eligibility, suitability, and substance. Eligibility, for the purposes of this video, is continuous residence for 20 years in the UK, not necessarily lawful. Continuous is strictly assessed. Certain absences or events can break continuity. Evidence must show the person has actually lived here for the whole period. So, I think you can go abroad for a couple of months, but there's specific criteria on how long you can be out of the country. I had something else here that I wanted to let you know. So, what evidence to prepare? So these are the documents you're going to need. Collect as many independent dated documents as possible, covering the whole 20-year period. Rent agreements, tenancy letters, council tax, utility bills, bank statements showing UK transactions, GP, hospital, dentist records, and NHS registration proof. Payslips, employment letters, P60s, employers' reference letters, school records for children, letters from schools, childcare records, letters from charities, faith groups, landlords or employers confirming residence, passport pages, previous visas, travel stamps to show absences, police or court documents only if needed and to explain any criminal history. Aim to show continuous presence and strong links to the UK. Home Office guidance and specialist lawyers emphasise documentary continuity above all, so there mustn't be any gaps. Even if you was in prison for 2 years, you have to say, look, I was in prison for 2 years, that's why I cannot submit this information. But even then, you have to kind of think, okay, prison for 2 years, that's going to go against your suitability, your character reference. Or it could be. It could. Nothing is written in stone, but it could. Chronology and continuity. Build a timeline and check whether any absence or event breaks the continuity. The continuous residence guidance gives detailed tests for permitted absences and breaks. Suitability and deception checks if the person previously used false documents or committed immigration offences that indicate deception that can be decisive. The applications from overstayers guidance covers how exceptions are considered. A balancing text. Article 8. If the 20-year ground isn't met, decision makers consider family, private life factors and proportionality. Recent tribunal decisions show that strong family ties or presence from childhood can succeed under Article 8. So, there are a few common pitfalls: gaps in the documentary record or unexplained absences that break continuity, criminal convictions or serious suitability issues, relying on weak evidence, unsworn personal statements without independent corroboration. Applying from outside the UK, many of these routes require the applicant to be physically present and to make valid in-country application. Home Office guidance is specific about where and how to apply. So, this is the first part of this. So you can know that as far as suitability is concerned, the main thing is to be of good character. No debt, no criminal records, no deception, fraud, that kind of stuff. And it's really important to acknowledge any misdemeanors. That shows you're credible, it shows you're accountable, it shows that you're responsible. A lot of people want to hide if they've had they've gone through a red light or something. Do I hide that? Do I have to tell them that? Be as honest as you can. Honesty means integrity. Integrity equals good character. And that's all I've got to say for now, I believe. I don't think I can add any more. I'm just going to do another video based on eligibility. And yeah, I'll close that for now. Bye-bye.